The following is a dramatization depicting a potential scenario in the near future. It was July 3, 2025. 3 weeks since the government mandated the new digital IDs. The US dollar had crashed about 6 weeks ago and the global economy had melted down. Martial law was now in full effect, and no one could leave home without specific reasons and only within certain allotted times, depending on your last name. A new digital ID was also required for any movement or commerce. Cash had been outlawed and was now worthless, and trading or bartering could also land you in jail if caught. Neighbors would get credits on their digital wallets for turning anyone in who was attempting to circumvent government regulations by bartering or even collecting rainwater. My wife and small child were up to this point in agreement with me that we should not get the digital ID. Although we were not against the ID itself, in order to be eligible for the new ID, we would have to be up to date on all inoculations, which at this point included 7 different shots. These all had to be taken before one could apply to get the digital ID. Myself and my family had not gotten any thus far. Although the food and water was running low, my wife was still adamant about trusting in the Heavenly Father to provide for us, but then tragedy hit. My young son had fallen while playing outside, and had injured his left arm. Since we had taken first aid classes, we knew that the bone was broken and were able to set it. The makeshift cast was holding up, and the antibiotics from our garden seemed to be working to keep the infection down. We also had a small stockpile of pain medications and some pharmaceutical antibiotics for pets from the animal supply store. We were so thankful that we had taken the time to learn first aid and were able to stockpile medicines before the dollar crashed. But then 1 week after the injury, our neighbor saw our son outside playing again, and saw his arm in a sling. She, being the nosy person that she is, called out to him and he unknowingly went to the fence to talk to her. She asked him what had happened and he told her, being innocent to the malevolence harbored by this woman. When we saw him by the fence, we called him back and she shouted at us telling us we were endangering him by not taking him to the hospital. The next day the health authorities showed up at our door and demanded to see our son. They were accompanied by armed police and so we let them see him. They took his temperature, examined his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. They asked us why we had not taken him to the hospital, and we told them we were going to take him for a checkup soon. They surprisingly seemed satisfied that he was not in imminent danger, but then they asked us for his digital ID. When we told them that we did not have one yet, they told us that we would have exactly 1 week to get one or else we might lose custody of him. To be continued.